Hi everybody, hi every spirit, welcome very much to the channel. Today we are going to talk about Sun in Aquarius. Thank you very much for being here. Your support is greatly appreciated. Leave a like and subscribe. Use the links down below to know more about my content and my services. So let's get started. It is officially the middle of the winter, fixed air. So now expect to get more cold or more dry depending on where you live, and also you most likely, and people around you as well, and the world in general, is going to become a bit more cold and a bit more dry. But that's not negative, right? Because it will be a general coldness and dryness, but when then you encounter or create specific, unique connections, those will be very celebrated and very valued, right? And before we go into Sun in Aquarius, let's see first what the Sun means and what does Aquarius. The Sun just represents our actions, our wants, our expressions, our ego, our confidence, and our ability to see and be seen, as in literally and as in like people seeing you in a certain way, right? So sometimes people imagine you are in the crowd or in a lot of people, in the middle of a lot of people, and if you are somebody that calls a lot of attention, maybe you have a sun sign that brings more light or attracts more attention from others. And sometimes you might not attract a lot of attention because your sun sign is a bit more internal and a bit more private. That does not mean that your value is lower because you don't attract so much attention. Actually, if you're on a more individual and spiritual path, it's always better to be more focused on your own path without attracting too much unwanted, unwarranted external attention. And that's a key subject here for Sun in Aquarius, and we'll see why right now. Why or what does Aquarius mean? Aquarius fixed air, the ability to be fixed, consistent, stuck or stubborn in your own way of thinking, communicating and analyzing. And preferentially, or most times, that way of thinking, that unique way of communicating comes from or is about the world, society, big subjects like astrology, science, sports, politics, you know what I'm saying? Things that are or can be a foundation, a structure, but that can be applied to your community or to the world, because Aquarius is the external side of Saturn. So it's the evolution or the next step of Capricorn, which is the internal side of Saturn. So in Capricorn, which is cardinal Earth, it's about initiating new ways to be stable, to be profitable, to be responsible, to be organized, to be seen as responsible and organized. It's initiating those structures, networking, associations, new values or new ways to value stuff, right? And then in Aquarius, it's kind of the same thing, but less emotional, more expressive, a bit more dry, or a bit less concerning about feelings and emotions, and focusing more on the world. Now, when I say it's less focused on feelings and emotions, it doesn't mean that there is no care about feelings and emotions. That is the reason why there is a trait associated with Aquarius, which is humanistic, or they care about humanity, which is true, very truthful. But a good Aquarius, quote unquote, is able to still feel those feelings, still be aware of those feelings, and understand that instead of stopping or perturbing the actions, the growth, and the expressions because of those feelings, they can separate and go a bit dry to build something to support those feelings or to allow those feelings to be expressed and a part of reality without perturbing reality. And actually, even a step further, they are the reason why we're building so hard. And it's the same thing with Capricorn as well. Both Capricorns and Aquarius, ruled by Saturn, it's all about we are aware of the feelings, but right now we must work on something so we can feel good and have support and be unique and have structure and have a potential realistic way to growth, right? Because a lot of people think Aquarius and Capricorns don't feel, or they don't care about feelings, emotions. They do, they just don't want to be perturbed or slowed down by it, and actually they want to elevate those things, right? So Sun in Aquarius, it's all about you, right, expressing yourself in your unique way about things that you are personally into, in a way that even though you don't need to be communicating to the world, but in your mind, you gotta create something that makes you feel ready and motivated to, if necessary, express your unique mind and your unique preferences to the world. Now, let's go back a little bit to the part where I say that sun sign or not receiving attention from the world doesn't mean you are less valuable, because Sun in Aquarius opposes Sun in Leo. So it's natural that you don't receive attention naturally or as much as other signs. Especially during this season, Aquarius season, everybody might be struggling with value themselves, valuing their expressions and the things they like to pay attention to. Because Sun in Aquarius, it's not about just receiving that attention or naturally receiving it. It's about putting in the work. It's about showing consistency, showing uniqueness, showing reality, and then you start receiving that attention and validation, and then you know that's the right type of validation. Because Leo has a curse, which is they receive so much attention naturally, it's hard for them to distinguish which are the right and truthful validation and people that can support them, right? And then moving on to the part of the feelings and emotions, everybody else will be a bit more dry, it will be a bit more distant, right? Not everybody else, some people will still be super emotional and they will be corrected by the world, right? But in the end of the day, my point with these 2 points that I'm bringing in is for you to not expect natural validation coming into you, and for you to not expect feel good energy or go easy, go luck energy. But that's exactly what we are supposed to be doing right now, is to go out mentally or physically, express ourselves and build that attention, build those good feelings, not just be already feeling those feelings, already be comfortable, already be receiving some validation, you know. It's really about to work on it, and it's a bit more important right now than in Capricorn season, because Capricorn season is more internal, it's more private. But right now with Sun in Aquarius, it's really about to show that. What were you building, or what you were not building in Capricorn season? So even though you might not receive validation immediately, even though you might not feel as comfortable or as good or just safe in general, it's all about building a situation, a group, a place, a thing, an idea that brings you those things, right? So the point is really, don't feel bad or don't devalue yourself if you are not receiving a lot of attention, or if you're not feeling good already, because it's about to build it and show it to the world, and then you're gonna receive, right? And make sure, it's Sun in Aquarius, Aquarius season, make sure that you are expressing yourself in your own unique way, with your own limits and boundaries. So don't let the world limit yourself. You set your own limits and boundaries for your expression. And it's like, some people will think you are weird, some people will want to detach from you, and that's okay. All right, don't get fired from your job or something, always keep a balance. But in what really matters, as in personality, your spiritual system, your creativity, your energy in general, you have to be the one to set your limits and boundaries. You express yourself the way you want, you talk and you think and you act the way you want. You associate yourself with who you want and the feelings and the ideas that you want. Do not let the world dictate your own limits and boundaries in those areas. Otherwise, you will be building a reality based on that. And then that's never good. You know what I'm saying? Then also, make sure you're being realistic, but it's air. Aquarius, it's fixed air. So always be realistic to allow freedom, or to allow flexibility, or to allow fun, because you know you can have fun because you built something to support you, right? Both mentally and realistically. Second, or not second, another point here, or more of an advice, use Leo energy to balance Aquarius energy, because Aquarius can get stuck in the mind and do not translate that to expressions or actions. So use the Sun in Leo to oppose and balance the Sun in Aquarius, or not Sun in Leo, just Leo energy in general, so you can act a bit more. So why do Aquarius get stuck a little bit? Because it's not like they don't see the outcome, they just don't see the middle point between that idea and the outcome. And the Leo energy can fulfill that aspect, and it's literally just do it, right? And even if it goes wrong, even if it causes some turbulence, or even if there has no results, just the fact that you took action and you saw yourself in a good light in order to do that action, that is already helping you grow and establish a fixed, consistent way to be your goddamn self in the world. You know what I'm saying? Because it's really about that. Okay? Now, let's take a look at how the Sun in Aquarius is aligning the charts, and there will be at least 2 alignments where I will do a specific video about it because they are important. And why are they so important? Because like we shouldn't say one sign is better than the other, but in the times that we live, Aquarius is one of the most important signs, quote unquote. I'm not saying if you have a sun sign in Libra, it's less important. No, it's important that we do Aquarius type things. It's not like astrological racism. It's totally not that. But why I say that? Because for a very long time, society has functioned as in one big group or 2 big groups, or like a limited amount of people are in power, in control, and they are the ones being seen and expressing themselves in like a big way. And right now, the way the world is developing, it's about everybody else being able to have their own world, have their own place where they can express themselves and be themselves. And even further than that, it's about you building a routine and pattern that can support your own limits and boundaries and your own way of living. So instead of you having to work at just a normal job, nothing wrong with that, but it does take freedom away from you. You are not the one deciding your schedule or the purpose or the goal of that job. So that's why it's so important, because the next step of evolution is for you to really establish your own world. We live in a big world that we call Earth, right? Then we live in another world inside it, which is society. And then you have your own town and or your own country, and then you have your own reality. So it's time to expand your own reality so you can take control of things that people weren't able to take control before. Your schedule, your mind, your value, connections with the world. So it's really important to take this Aquarius season to take the necessary steps for you to build a world, personally speaking, from inwards to outwards, where you can be yourself, where you can, at least to a certain level, dictate your schedules, and to make sure that you work towards something that you value. Because it's a wide-known fact in astrology, in the astrology community, that Aquariuses are not interested, and they put very low effort into things that are outside of their principles or personal pleasures or personal interests. But when it does interest an Aquarius, they are the smartest, the strongest, and the fastest people in the world. So that's really a representation of what we should be focusing on building right now. Make sure you're still stable, make sure you still can have food and a roof over your head for tomorrow, but always make sure that you are adding in into your current reality the next steps and building blocks for the next step of reality, which is what I just said. You being able to dedicate yourself and most of your energy to your own limits, your own boundaries, your own schedule, and your own personal interests in a way that can be realistic and profitable for you and people around you that have similar interests, right? And also, with Sun in Aquarius, distance will become shorter, aka you might not have a lot of friends or people that relate to you in your geographical location, but internet connections or social media interactions can feel closer now. They can feel more important. So also make sure to not get scammed or brainwashed by somebody over the internet, right? So real quick, and if you think, wow, this guy is really talking so much about Sun in Aquarius, because I do have Sun Aquarius in myself, so I have a lot of personal testimonies that I want to share as well, but you gotta keep this focused into what's important. So Sun in Aquarius, fatal attracting Mercury in Capricorn, so that means that we want to express and be seen in a more fresh, logical, cool way, but our mind, our thoughts, and the way we communicate and analyze, it's still a bit more internal. We're still creating the basis for the Aquarius season through the perspective of Mercury. So our mind can be a bit more insecure, or we're still not ready, or we don't want to think about big things outside of our scope right now. But at the same time, we can use Mercury in Capricorn to balance out a little bit Sun in Aquarius. So our mind is more focused in personal things than world things. So our mind is initiating a process that then we can expand on using Sun in Aquarius. Okay? But basically it means your mind is a bit more internal and more sensitive than your expressions, body language, and visions. Then we have Venus in Pisces, also fatal attracting Sun in Aquarius. So that means that we are relating our visions and expressions that are more logical and more about the world, more about structure, uniqueness, and individuality. But we want to relate, or people around us want us to relate to them in a more sentimental, dreamlike, creative, spiritual perspective. But it's also a very good balancing energy, because Aquariuses can get too stuck, too dry, or just, it's not about sometimes getting too far away from emotions, it's just like not being able to integrate them into their own perspective. So Venus in Pisces really brings more that connection, and really brings more the connection between yourself and your own dreams and your own creativity and your own illusions, right? So then we have Sun in Aquarius opposing Leo right now, or not Leo, or not Mars, no, in conjuncting Mars in Capricorn, in Cancer. Oh my God, it's really an in conjunction, right? So we are misunderstanding while sharing some aspects here, right? So with Sun in Aquarius, we want to be seen as cool, as individual, as unique, as logical, as having a structure. But Mars in Cancer means that our passions, motivation, anger, and frustration are about home, privacy, feelings, emotions. But there is a common ground, which is to work towards a family or a group of people, places, or things that are close to you. So Mars in Cancer, it's about family. Aquarius, or the Sun in Aquarius, it's about a group of people that enjoy your consistency and your unique visions. So you can bring those together, you'll be very passionate, and you can transmit that passion about your own unique mind. But if you misunderstand the group and the family, you might be passionate and expressing to the wrong audience, and you don't understand why things are not catching up to each other. Then Sun in Aquarius, trining Jupiter in Gemini, and this will be one of the alignments that I will do a dedicated video for. So this is a trine, so a gift to expand our unique actions, visions, associations, thoughts, and ideas. And how do we expand on that? By being more mutable, by being more light, more flexible, and less worried when it's time to share and communicate about your wisdom, knowledge, travels, personal testimonies, and spiritual belief systems, always within a scope of logic, realism, and trying to derive wisdom and knowledge from your surroundings and your own experiences, using the Sun in Aquarius, your own personal, unique, and fixed mentality and ways to think and communicate about, right? But also, there is a gift to get too scattered and connect to too much places where there is no purpose or no real value. But then we'll go deeper into that in a separate video. Then we have Saturn in Pisces, fatal attracting Sun in Aquarius. So an opportunity to bring stability, to bring logic, to bring the right limits and boundaries, to basically you building your spiritual world, your dream world within reality. But Saturn in Pisces is a very big scope. So Sun in Aquarius can also see you more clearly what is really important when it comes for you to build something realistically that allows you to be unique and individual. On the negative side, you might feel lost, you might feel too emotional, too responsive, too insecure, and you might even practice some self-sabotage because you can't see further enough. Sun in Aquarius can be limited in their visions because they're too realistic. Saturn in Aquarius can help with some faith and some belief, but you can get lost, you can get scattered emotionally speaking in that limited vision of Sun in Aquarius. So be careful with that. Then we have Uranus in Taurus, for a very long time, by the way, right? And that's a square with a Sun in Aquarius. So we're learning how to be Sun in Aquarius totally, because Uranus co-rules Aquarius. So we're learning how to be unique, individual, logical, communicative, mutable, but still your goddamn self. But we're learning how to really be realistic, how to really bring patience, stability, and value to new products, circumstances, situations, or ideas that you can extract value, profit, safety, security, and privacy from. The Neptune in Pisces, fatal attracting Sun in Aquarius, so you can be stubborn, or you can build an image or a group of people based on big dreams or big illusions. Make sure you're making that for the big dreams and not for the big illusions. And lastly but not least, that will be another alignment where I'll be making a video about, which is Sun conjuncting Pluto. This is really, really important because Pluto represents transformation. And the Pluto in the world's natal chart, aka not your Pluto, right? The Pluto in the sky represents world transformation. So now with the Sun in Aquarius, we can see very clearly what are the next step for the world's evolution, right? And what we need to, and what the world needs to transform in order to fit into the new era. And that's being unique, being individual, and create your own foundation and system. So most likely, we are all forced right now to transform into that direction, where you have your own world, your own little space, where if people come in, they will be able to listen and associate to your own ideas, to your own thoughts, to your own unique perspective. But if you don't create your own little world, if you don't have a unique and fixed mind, the world will take over you and you will be stuck around somebody else's unique perspective. So not only it's important for your own sake to build your own mind, it's also important for you to not be wrongfully used by the world. So basically you having your own mind can protect you, and it will, from random. And it's not like those are bad minds or those are bad ideas, it's just they are not for you. As simple as that. So for you to not be absorbed and work for those minds without a purpose, you have to have your own unique mind. You have to have your own unique circumstance and reality. Because a lot of people judge very harshly other people just because they have a different reality. But that's what really matters right now. You know what I'm saying? So thank you very much for watching. Your support is really appreciated. Leave a like and subscribe. And be waiting for more videos because they will be here. Thank you for watching. I wish you the best thoughts, ideas, feelings, and emotions, and a whole bunch of individuality, creativity, and responsibility as well. See you next time.